2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, the 16th of March, and it's Freedom of Information Day. And a big happy birthday to Blue Cantrell, Jenny Eclair, Theo Walcott, and Flavor Flav. Russian forces continue to bombard Ukrainian cities on Tuesday, with increased shelling of residential areas in the capital city Kyiv, which led to multiple fires and at least 5 additional deaths. 2 more journalists, Pierre Zakrzewski and Alexandra Kushinova, were also killed, one an Irish citizen and one a Ukrainian, who were working for Fox News and were part of a team that were attacked on Monday by Russian troops. Mayor Vitaly Klitschko announced a 35-hour curfew from Tuesday night, but he says that the citizens of Kyiv are determined to fight on.
Right now, everyone is angry. They don't want to leave, want to defend our city.
As peace talks continue, President Zelensky did appear to concede that Ukraine will not now join NATO. Tuesday saw a visit from the Polish, Czech and Slovenian prime ministers who arrived by train into the war-torn city in a gesture of solidarity, while Zelensky also addressed a new joint expeditionary force by Zoom, which is a UK-led rapid response force made up of 10 countries.
I'm grateful to every country who has taken a moral stance against Russian war machine. We can still stop Russian war machine. We can stop the killing of people, and it will be easier to do it together, because else they will also come to you.
The economic pressure continued on Russia on Tuesday as the UK announced a further round of sanctions on 360 individuals in a bid to cut off funding for Vladimir Putin's war machine. The government also announced a ban on high-end luxury goods to Russia and added new import tariffs to hundreds of products. Russia also found itself having to quit the Council of Europe just before it was kicked out. Labour's Shadow Attorney General Emily Thornberry says the UK is still moving too slowly.
Really, the truth is that it's all rather too late. I mean, it could have been done much faster than this. We didn't have the legislation in place, and we seem to be playing catch-up with America and the rest of Europe, when I think that we could have really been leading the way if we had wanted to, and if we'd wanted to put our back into it.
The number of UK families signing to host Ukrainian refugees has continued to grow, reaching over 100,000 offers of places in the first 24 hours of the scheme. The issue remains the ease of access to visas for those who wish to settle here, but Ukraine's ambassador to the UK, Vadim Pristeko, is hopeful.
We're humbled and impressed by the numbers. People opening up their houses. We have differences here, but I believe that both sides will be able to enrich their experiences.
The US also experienced sanctions on Tuesday as Russia announced a peculiar list of individual sanctions, including Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Press Secretary Jen Psaki. She seemed unconcerned at the White House press briefing and pointed out that Russia may also have made a small administrative error.
I would first note that President Biden is a junior, so they may have sanctioned his dad. May he rest in peace.
North of the border, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau introduced Ukrainian President Zelensky on Zoom to Canada's Parliament with a standing ovation.
Volodymyr, in the years I've known you, I've always thought of you as a champion for democracy. And now, democracies around the world are lucky to have you as our champion.
Zelensky appealed again for a no-fly zone above his country and urged Canadian legislators to continue the economic and political pressure on Russia.
I hope you can increase your efforts, you can increase sanctions so they will not have a single dollar to fund their war effort.
There was some sign of good news in a long-running saga on Tuesday, as Labour MP Tulip Siddiq suggested that British-Iranian woman Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe has finally had her UK passport returned. She's been at the centre of drama for 6 years after being accused of spying by Iran and serving multiple prison terms. Her husband went on hunger strike in October in a bid to free her, but ultimately had to give up. Boris was asked if the UK had now paid the £400 million debt that's at the heart of the conflict and whether or not Nazanin might finally be freed.
When you've got quite delicate discussions going on, negotiations going on, particularly Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe, we should say as little as possible until the thing is actually concluded. And I do not want to do anything to interrupt the conversations right now.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Courtney Cox isn't too happy with UPS and there's a new nature guy in town. Right after this. Welcome back.
There was Champions League second leg last 16 action on Tuesday, with Ajax taking on Benfica and Man United in action against Villarreal. Benfica won 1-0 and headed to the quarter-finals, and Man United got knocked out by Atletico Madrid, losing 1-0 on the night and 2-1 on aggregate. Interim manager Ralf Rangnick says his focus now is on the Premier League.
We'll try everything to finish off the season on the highest possible level. If right now to think about how can we close the gap to the top teams is, for me, too early. My focus is on finishing on the highest possible level with this team.
She was the friend that was obsessive about housekeeping and cleanliness, so it's no surprise that in real life, an unexpected visitor to her gaff kind of freaked her out. Courtney Cox popped up on Jimmy Kimmel's show and she told him about an amazing house in Laurel Canyon that she owned briefly that had previously belonged to Gypsy Rose Lee and Carole King. She says her friends had always found something weird about the place, but she'd never really been bothered by it until...
I was at the house one day, not being a believer, and the doorbell rang. It was a UPS guy or something, and I opened the door and he said, "Do you know this house is haunted?" And I go, "Yeah, why? Why do you think that?" He goes, "Because there's someone standing behind you." And I was like, let's sell.
What a terrible, terrible UPS guy.
If you're like me, every time you see David Attenborough's name trending, you fear the worst, and maybe you're not alone. But fear not, there might just be a new nature documentary guy in town. He's got a brand new 5-part Netflix series called Our Great National Parks, and well, he goes full Attenborough, exploring all of the wonders of nature. But who is this mystery man? Why, it's former US President Barack Obama.
Join me in this celebration of our planet's greatest national parks and wilderness. Around the world, the more isolated the national park, the more unusual its creatures, and the more extraordinary their behaviors.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day. Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.